like restaurant places that would donate to that stuff.
Okay, welcome everyone to the regular meeting of the Larkspur Parks and Recreation Commission. We will be starting just a few minutes late at 6:32. Nick, do you want to call roll?
Yes, thank you. Commissioner Baxter,
Here,
Commissioner Friedel,
Here.
and Vice Chair Harrison.
Here.
Let the record show that Commissioner Sunshine and Chair Capel are absent.
Okay, thank you very much. We do have a quorum, so we will now move to the second item on our agenda, which is the public comment period. This is when the commission will hear comments from the public on matters which we have jurisdiction and are not on the agenda tonight. Ideally, we would like people to keep it to no more than 5 minutes, and we generally allocate about 15 minutes to this portion of the agenda. So if there's anyone here who would like to address the commission, I extend an invitation to the podium. Yeah, seeing none, no one racing up, we will close the public comment period and move to item number 3, which is the approval of the consent calendar. And that involves the approval of the minutes for February 15th, 2024.
motion to approve.
I will second that. Okay, all those in favor, we'll just have a voice. Aye.
Passes 3-0.
Okay, this evening on item 4, we do not have a public hearing. Item 5, our business item is the pickleball lines at Piper Park, and our recreation director, Nick Stone, has a presentation for us. So Nick, it's all you.
Thank you, Commissioner Harrison. I have a very short presentation. Most of it is based in the staff report that was handed out in the February 15th meeting of the Park and Rec Commission. The commission heard a proposal to paint lines on whether they would like to paint additional pickleball lines on court 4 or whether to leave it as is. Let the record show Commissioner Sunshine is here.
Welcome.
And after some back and forth and hearing from the public and hearing my presentation, the commission had ultimately voted to look into installing temporary lines on court 4 and monitor how things were going over the course of roughly 6 months. I spent some time looking into it. There was a few factors that were raised. Temporary lines are not great options to move forward. The chalk lines have to be reapplied constantly, and tape lines are again have to be reapplied all the time. And the actual putting of paint lines down, what I didn't anticipate was that the amount of retexturing and resurfacing that goes along with potentially taking those off makes it not a financially great option for us. The other issues that we had with monitoring is some of the issues raised were traffic in the park as well as noise in the park. Both of those issues, unbeknownst to me, but well known to the Public Works Department, is that when we go through noise studies and traffic studies, it's really bring in contractors for that, and it costs into the tens of thousands of dollars to do a comprehensive study like that. So at this point, staff recommends temporary lines and monitoring is not an option that we can accommodate. So what I'm bringing back tonight is whether or not what we should do with court 4. If you'd like to see an additional 4 pickleball lines painted on there for mixed use, or if we should leave it as is. And one of the some other factors that have come into play recently that you may also want to know, we talked a lot about scheduling. That's not a new thing, but we do schedule the courts. So regardless of what the vote is tonight, it's going to be a lot of scheduling for that court and kind of massaging it with the public to make sure that all demands are met, whether additional lines go on or not. Also want to mention that Leo Giraldi, our tennis contractor, is in the audience tonight and has recently hired a staff that is going to bring back pickleball lessons. We haven't offered pickleball lessons since before the pandemic. It was a casualty of COVID. So we are going to be programming pickleball lessons out there. We haven't done it again in a few years, so it's something that we're excited about, but we know will ultimately potentially take away some extra time from public play as well. This instructor is also a tennis player that will be teaching some youth tennis lessons for us as well. And down the road, we're still working out the details we'd like to do, regardless of what happens tonight. We'd like to look at exploring some weekend pickleball tournaments where we actually do the temporary lines that we've talked about, the tape lines and stuff that doesn't work over a long period of time, that we can actually do those for a short term tournament over the course of a day or 2 days. You know, however many times a year we end up doing that, but likely a couple times. That is the end of my report. If you guys have any questions, please let me know.
Questions for any addition?
I think, Nick, you didn't touch on it this time, but one of the things that we talked about last time when we met, and maybe you can confirm this, but the usership for pickleball on our course was greater than 80% of the folks that were there for pickleball. Is that correct? Roughly.
Let me pull up my statistics from the last time. I don't. So. If you want to pull up the old staff report on the website, we can pull this up. I don't have I don't know that I have a number for the people that responded to the survey. Okay. and what they wanted. So what I can do, let me pull this up really quick. Go through that. Sorry, I should have this ready. So we can go through this again. Roll through this, but these so we had 8 questions, and we can kind of go through those questions if you'd like right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where do you live? This is kind of a breakdown. Okay. So 15. So 92 surveys. Sorry. That. Okay, 194 responses, 58 lived, Larkspur Greenbrae. And so here's probably what you were asking, the number of folks that responded. Okay,
That's it.
yeah. So those are the folks that responded to the survey.
So it looks like 114 supported pickleball, 60 supported tennis, and then 20 both. It's like 2/3, roughly 2/3.
Correct.
Great, thank you.
I have a question. So I thought about this because I know we talked about this, and I believe we're talking about redoing or upgrading or redoing this, the master plan. Pickleball isn't even in the master plan.
Correct. So right now, I have an update on the Piper Park master plan, but
And we talked about it.
right now, when we did the Piper Park master plan, I believe that was in 2012.
I remember it well.
And no, there was no call for pickleball on the master plan at that time.
So it's not on there, so, which is, I guess, fine-ish. And then bocce's on the master plan. So I'm just curious about that, 'cause it's not on the master plan at all. Do we have any problem putting something in Piper Park that's not on the master plan? 'Cause I know we went through that when we added the softball, baseball cage.
Yeah, so in order to add pickleball courts, we need to amend the master plan in order to add pickleball courts. To add the lines to the pickleball courts, which we originally did in 2018, does not need to be amended for that. So this is being used as a mixed use, which is actually referred to in the master plan as well.
That was.
Yeah.
I came to me after this.
Is there any discussion about the color of pickleball lines when you put them onto a tennis court? Is there some color that is less offensive to tennis players than other colors?
Yes, I might let when public comment rolls around, I may let our attendees speak more to that because I don't play either. But it was a conversation that we had, Rita, myself, as well as Steve Adams is our support surfacing contractor that did the painting. And I've only gotten positive responses about the color, not necessarily about the action of putting the lines there, but the color schemes. I've heard positive reviews from it, as opposed to bright yellow and stuff like that. So.
That's the only question I have.
Okay. Good. Okay, at this point, we will open it up to anyone who would like to address the commission on this particular agenda item.
Hi, I'm Marcello Bowen, a resident of Larkspur and user of Piper Park and pickleball courts. I'd like to share a story. So last weekend, me and my friend, or my friend and I don't know, but Dylan and I, my friend, we went to Piper, looking to play some singles. And when we got there, it was just completely, full. And so there's a wait, but the people there, they're very nice and they let us mix in. There's also some middle schoolers or maybe early high schoolers. And I've also seen college kids and high school kids there as well. So yeah, I think it's getting more diverse of the age. There's also, a lot there person who's there who's I don't know, 82, and she's going strong. So I think if we just add some pickleball lines, the tennis people, we can switch off and they'll still have the court. Yeah, it'd be probably good maybe to change the color to less annoy the tennis people, but So we can make it some multi-use and the pickleball, I think, as you see from the survey that Nick provided, is the much more people who replied played pickleball. And also a lot of people from other places come to Piper because, I think it's a very inclusive community, it's a fun community. And, the play is just very fun. Yeah, and
May I ask you a question? Yes. First of all, thank you for coming again and being so well spoken. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And what color lines you said? Yeah.
well, I mean, I don't really know. I mean, probably not the same color as the tennis lines because it would be.
What color are pickleball lines supposed to be? Sorry.
I mean, I don't know. I think it depends really on the place. I've seen different, definitely. But I'm not an expert, that's for sure, on what color the lines are, but I've seen definitely some different. But I think if it's like a noticeably different color and probably less blinding than the yellow. Then I would probably do it. Yeah,
All right. Thank you very much.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you again, Commissioners. Eric Bowen, Larkspur resident and proud quality. Not much to add to what Nick and Marcello already said. I will say I did some independent research just to try to be helpful to Nick on temporary lines and had the same result he did, which there really wasn't a good solution, which was disappointing. But that data point is helpful. I just wanted to pass that along. Also tried to be an independent scientist and gather just data about what was going on in the courts and what was going on in the parking lot each time I came, and sort of started recording the log wherever my phone is on there. It's all anecdotal, of course, and it is definitely weighted towards weekday afternoons because I haven't been going as much recently on the weekends. But I would say no time that I went was the parking lot anywhere near full, so parking did not seem to be an issue. And generally speaking, pickleball was full to overflowing, and at least more than half of the time, and I don't know if it was 80% or 60%, court 4 was just vacant, it was empty, versus having a couple of people playing tennis there or someone drilling. So to do the multiple use, to have court 4 available for pickleball makes a lot of sense to me. You all know that I've been supportive of this for some time. Was delighted to see that temporary might be step one towards permanent. Does not appear to be viable. Hopefully the commission can move forward with permanent. Happy to answer any questions folks have, and again, appreciate everyone's investment of time on this topic.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you again for joining us.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Hello,
Hi.
my name is Leo Giraldi, and I'm the tennis contractor for the city of Larkspur since 2012, and I've been working for the city of Larkspur since September 2000. So it's been 24 years, proudly working for the city of Larkspur. So I'm in charge of the tennis and recently pickleball activity as well. And so I'm on the court pretty much every day, been there for a long time. And it seems to me, and the activity of pickleball is great, it's nice activity. It's how things gel between the tennis community and the pickleball community, especially at Piper Park where the tennis programs are really thriving. There's a lot of teams going on that use the courts, there's a lot of matches, and tennis is a quiet activity, and pickleball is much more social, it's a little more now because of the sheer volume of people using the tennis courts at once. So the only thing I wanted to bring up is I think the tennis community at large, if I can small spokesperson for the community, would be to down the road consider the inclusion of standalone pickleball courts, and if there was anything on the timeline that would suggest that we're going to go towards that, I think it would be very easy, especially for me, to help out manage such timeline where we know it's a temporary situation and things would end up being, everybody would have their place where they could do their activity of choice. I think it would be very nice if we were talking about the master plan earlier. Things of that nature would be really, really useful. Currently, with the mixed use, and if we were to add mixed use to on Court 4, I don't want to predict what would be happening, but there's a fair amount of tension, social tension that could potentially happen again, because tennis you play at a certain time, especially with teams. And then if you have 20 people on one court, it's difficult to start on time to make sure everybody, leaves the premises and things of that nature. And also want to mention, because this is the first meeting I was here as well, I didn't say anything, but the use of Court 4 being not used as much is mostly because I've had an assistant pro for tennis instruction, doing the classes and some private lessons as well for since the beginning, basically. But since COVID, it's been very difficult to get an assistant. I've lost my long-time assistant, and then so Court 4 was basically open because I didn't have an assistant. Now I do have an assistant who's going to be doing youth classes for tennis and pickleball instruction. I think it's a wonderful person. I think it's a nice addition to the community. So that's also what I wanted to put in perspective, is the fact that Court 4 has been empty is basically because there was no assistant that traditionally has been using Court 4 for all instruction, of course, including Larkspur rec development classes.
Questions?
I read the question on the time for Nick. So those classes for Court 4 would be scheduled and they would be blocked out for lessons.
Correct, yeah, I've been looking
They
at,
would be pre-scheduled.
yeah.
So it would be part, even if it was lined, those would be blocked out because they'd be lessons.
Certain times would be, so if the commission chose to,
If we chose to go forward with
But-
multi-use, to your point, if the commission chose to go forward with multi-use, if you had lessons on 4, that time would be blocked out for lessons.
correct,
Correct.
yes.
Okay.
Yes, the main impact for Court 4 lines is not necessarily the lesson, it's really the matches. It's really, we have, I alone run 10 teams a year on those courts, including youth. We have 14 and under teams, we have 12 and under teams, we have multiple adult teams. And, Court 3, usually we don't use it for those rec development teams because all the lines and it's distracting. So that's the main impact that you would significantly notice is for the happening of performance matches on those courts. That's where the impact will be the most significant, not necessarily for lessons.
How often do the matches take place that you need at this time, 3 courts?
So each match, so we have different types of leagues, and USTA being the main body of tennis, it's 1 match a week, and when you have 2 or 3 teams, that's 2 or 3 matches a week for players. Now we play home and away matches, but yeah, for the home matches, we're using Court 4 matches, and again, we've been doing this for many, many years. And we use 1, 2, and 4, and we use 3 to open to the community, including pickleball and not just any. I've always tried as a contractor to leave courts open to the public at all times, whether it's at Centennial Park or Piper Park. So there's always at least 1 court in the public use it for fun.
Do you have an opinion on the color of the lines when you have a multi-use court?
Well, the least distracting would be as faded as possible. So as Nick was saying, if it's bright yellow, it's even more of a visual impact than necessary. So that's without saying yes.
Any questions? Anybody may have?
Thank
Thank you. Okay, bringing it back to the commission. Any discussion? Thoughts?
think I was kind of on the fence last time when we spoke about this, and I ended up being in the wait and see camp, but I think with the statistics that we've seen and we've heard in testimony, I'm more inclined, I feel more comfortable with directing the staff to Langford for this pickleball courts. What are your guys' thoughts?
Well, I just want to say I appreciate all of the research and effort, Nick, that you put into this at a really busy season. So I'm feeling very comfortable, similar to you, Commissioner, that, we explored temporary lines as kind of that interim step, and it's clearly not economically feasible or really operational feasible. And I think the pickleball community has made a really strong case for the need and the effort to work collaboratively with all the other users in on those courts. And so I feel very comfortable now being able to go from a wait and see to a yes. But I wanted to say thank you for the extra work that you put in.
Thank you.
Who knew that pointing lines, painting lines on the ground was such an effort? Yeah.
I suppose I would say I feel somewhat similar. I'm sort of the holdout here. I agree that, pickleball is, overtaking everything. We had a conversation about, and I forget the name of the new up and comer. I want to call it Splat, but I'm not right.
Paddle.
Thank you.
Paddle.
But, I thank you for clarifying how it fits into master plan, that since it's mixed use, it fits in there, because I thought about that being the parliamentarian that I am. But also this is a new bit of information that we didn't have before, that now we have the assistant coach back in, so court form comes into play in a different way now. It wasn't, and it hadn't been during COVID, and it wasn't, so I'm more comfortable, and I agree with everything that was said. I agree with, thank you for the extra research the hoop we asked you to jump through that you did. Thank you so much. And I agree that these two gentlemen have been here and spoken so eloquently, and I appreciate that, and the effort that whole community has put into this, and I appreciate that. I still will be a little bit of a holdout and not want to say, well, nothing is permanent. But that I would still want to say that we would reserve the right to change it if it becomes problematic. That's my only concern, because we have a new Court 4 issue with the assistant coach being back in, and matches and classes, and that we hadn't had before. And I absolutely appreciate and thank you for your parking lot analysis, because that's my concern. We're going into the summer. I've been in there. I go for walks in the late afternoon, early evening, and if you hit a soccer tournament and a baseball, you can't park and end up parking at the school, so it just depends on when you hit it. So I totally appreciate that. So thank you. So I still have some concerns in that area, but I would be willing to give it a shot as well. But we're definitely keeping an eye on what happens in Court 4. And that's for the color of the lines. I would lean towards what is the least offensive, sorry, gentlemen, to the tennis players. So it's not as confusing to them. That would be my preference as well. I don't know what that color is. Y'all have to work that out. You and Nick and tennis and pickleball are going to have to figure out what that color is. In public works, whatever they can public. So I would feel like we can try it. Would be where I live. Not calling it temporary, but that sort of part. Knowing that we have a new information that we didn't have at the last meeting in regards to.
I think my position was kind of a little different last time, because I thought that we might as well go ahead and line them permanently. So I'm certainly still in that camp. I do appreciate that this is going to create more work for the rec department in particular because of scheduling concerns. And I don't know how to mitigate that. at this point, but I do think it's a reflection of, increased demand, which is a good thing. So I would at this point continue to support permanently lining the courts. For what it's worth, it seems like gray is a good color. Certainly better than yellow. So I would, at this point, I guess, entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to go with option one and direct staff to line court for with additional pickleball courts.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Let the record show option number one to paint pickleball lines on court number 4 has passed 4-0.
Thank you, everybody. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving forward to item 6, Director's Oral Report. It's back with you.
Great, thank you. I want to officially introduce Gianni La Caruba to you. Gianni is the recreation coordinator as of about 9 months ago. And he started with us a couple of years ago as an administrative assistant when library and recreation were together as one department. And so he spent a lot of time working in the library and as an admin assistant down at rec as well. When the departments kind of split up again into separate departments, I made the case that he was doing so well and learning so much in the rec department that I wanted him as my rec coordinator. So he is now rec coordinator in a full-time position at the rec department. So.
Welcome.
Welcome. Saying hi.
No, thank you. Met you all individually, not briefly. Yeah, thank you, Nick, for the opportunity. And then a little bit about me is just, local, grew up in Corte Madera, but a lot of recreation classes, primarily through Larkspur, just being on east side of Corte Madera. And just fortunate enough to have been here the last 2 years, loved it, and happy that we got out brochure. First time since, before COVID, but excited for the future, buckling down for summer. So, pleasure.
Great, excellent. Welcome. Well,
And Gianni has so far really helped me take over programming. So he's doing a lot of the after school programming, doing all the after school programming for me right now, as well as a lot of reservations. And he is perfect night for this. He is actually in charge of the tennis schedule. So he has been, I handed that off to him, about 6 months ago. And he's been doing a really good job on that. It is a very technical schedule. And it's going to get more technical. So they've been doing great. And then he also mentioned the recreation brochure. I don't think we've been able to talk about this yet, but really happy with the way it turned out. Gianni spearheaded this, and this is typically, I also want to throw out that this is in most departments. A supervisor is a higher level than coordinator, and it typically falls under the supervisor's responsibility to put the brochure together. So he's did an amazing job putting this together, and especially so new to the department. This is a redesign from previous years. It's kind of the old school way of doing it, was all the class codes and all the times and the dates. In the internet age, we don't need all that information anymore. We're just trying to draw the eye to it to get people to our websites and to kind of see what's going on in the community. So really happy with the way this turned out. Enough about him. Do you want to talk about the department? We thank you all for meeting with Tom with RGS. We had our first, and that's our SWOT analysis that we're doing with the rec department. We had a couple weeks ago, we had our first session with him, and Gianni and I spent 4 hours in a room developing plans for the future. We did not finish everything, so we have a follow-up appointment with him next week. But we have some draft vision and draft mission statements that I'm really excited to share with you when the time's right. I'm not, I've never been a huge fan of any mission statements that I've had before, and this one I feel like really speaks to what I'd like to see out of the department. So I'm excited for that, and I'm also excited to get a nice 3 and 5 year plan moving forward. So I hope to present that to you in May, and it may potentially be June, but hopefully I'll have it in May. We brought up the Piper Park master plan, and I wanted to touch on that. We've met with Julian Skinner, Public Works Director, and Rita and Dan, and we sat down and realized that a redoing of the master plan is going to cost us a ton of money, and the park is more or less built out. That said, there are a lot of changes that need to happen to it. So what we're doing is we're going to be doing a visioning document as an add-on to the plan. And what that'll do is allow us to get a lot of public outreach on what people are feeling, which is kind of what we wanted, was to get the public outreach and to get the numbers of people that respond to that. So I can't speak exactly to what it is and what it's going to look like, but I know that we are going to be reaching out to the public and getting feedback on the park, and this will give us ideally what we're looking for is where things like pickleball that weren't identified in the previous master plan, that this will be identified in the visioning document. This will also help give us an idea of what amenities need to be upgraded and where we should, with our capital improvements project, be prioritizing certain projects. And this will give the public, specifically soccer players who would like the field in better condition, and softball players who would like the softball fields in better condition. This will give them a chance to come to the table and voice opinions and help us with our capital improvements. Any questions about that? I don't have a whole lot of answers at this point, but it's just going to be a way less expensive version of what we're looking to do.
Yes, so it won't be consultant driven, it'll be staff driven?
It'll be a combination, similar to how we would have done the master plan. So the consultant will still do it, but the outreach and stuff will mostly be staff driven. Yeah.
And what would be some of the consultants? Are they looking at, I don't know, square footage, and I mean, what would they be doing at that point?
I don't know exactly what it's going to look like, but I know that the whole reason that we're doing it is to get as much public feedback as we can and to compile that into data. You know, we're not going to be, the big thing that Julian Skinner was saying was that the park is built at this point. There's not a whole lot of places to add things. And so a master plan process would essentially estimate about $200,000 to come to that conclusion. So this is, I don't know if it's going to get too much into the reads on square footage and stuff, because they're still going to be using the existing Piper Park master plan, because all those details are still the same.
Right. I'm just curious, like, when in the last master planning, or how did the sequencing of the last master planning process go with like the Bon Air Bridge project and all of the additional projects that funded? Were they included in the master plan, or did they kind of happen
That
separate and apart?
happened after.
After, okay, that was my sense. So
Yeah.
to your point of like the master plan last time didn't even think about pickleball. The master plan last time didn't know that the Bon Air Bridge project would be coming and that there would be these funding for, restoring docks and.
Correct, for the mitigation project and
Yeah.
moving the dog park. Yeah, correct.
So if another big, I don't know what that would be, but another big project like that comes down the line, the master plan would be a sort of a priority list of, if we get a big windfall of money or whatever, these would be the projects that we want to
There's still things in the master plan that we've done.
Correct.
Oh, well, there you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, there's still tons of things. in the-
So
So
this-
let's go back and validate.
Yeah, there's still
They're
tons of things in
learning,
the master plan that we've done.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's things in the master, this visioning document will help us identify the things that have not been done that need to be done.
Still, or you
And-
don't need to do.
Correct.
I hate to bring it up,
Mhm.
but with the change in the master plan, how do standalone pickleball courts fit in? Or do they not?
With the current master, so what I've told people essentially is if it's not in the master plan, it's not, even if somebody came and donated $250,000 to build it, we wouldn't be able to build it without it being in the master plan. So there's different options, there's amendments to the master plan. Believe that the visioning document is gonna be perfectly acceptable for what we need, assuming that pickleball shows as a need in the
Right.
visioning
It's
document.
about percentage of public and passive space, so we'd have to say, what would be the space that a pickleball, standalone pickleball court would take away from the space that's entirely used for the public, that's not specifically, so.
Yeah.
We have to validate that, it'd be hard. Last time we did it was the batting cage. Which end? The one that's on the side over by the old dog park, right by the edge of the community garden.
So Twin City Softball, and I don't know how long ago this was, approached the commission about building a batting cage at Piper Park. And so there's an agreement struck between the city and Twin Cities.
Part of that, it was cricket, with that little bowling cage. Down there by the Grove.
Right.
That's even older than that.
That's older, and I don't know that information, how that happened.
That's
And
pre.
the batting cage is pre, yeah, the batting cage is pre-Nick too, so, yeah,
Yeah, thank you.
of course. I have a lot of things, sorry. The other thing I'm bringing up to you guys tonight, soliciting feedback, I don't need feedback on it right now, but if you wanted to compile some thoughts about it soon. We have gotten requests and we're getting more requests for public art displays. And there's currently no city policy for it. So this is the, painting fire hydrants, murals on walls. And so we've gotten to a point where we've got enough requests that we need to come up with, city council needs to come up with a plan to standardize it and to make policies based around this. So one of the ideas that's being kicked around right now is to turn the Park and Rec Commission into the Parks and Rec and Arts Commission, as opposed to creating a separate Arts Commission. So this would be, I believe the policies would be written at the by the assistant city manager and then presented to you for feedback on that approval process of how we would approve public art. But the city council may be hearing a presentation on that in the next month or two. And so, this is something that's been used in a few other cities too. So I know San Anselmo has a Park and Rec and Arts Commission. So, so new information for you. And if you want to give me thoughts on that or not.
Sticker sign.
Yeah, that's true. The signs in the park, yeah, they're very nice.
Remember how long it took?
A long time, lots of them.
So I think this would mostly be self-funded projects and groups that would be coming to you
Yeah.
asking for approval. And there would be a set of guidelines that staff would put together for that. So exciting.
Okay,
Right?
yeah.
I'm also going to be reaching out in the next few weeks. I'd like to do a parks tour. This would be a joint commission and council endeavor. Yeah, exactly. With the new council member Andre on board, it would be great to do that. And I know Commissioner Baxter hasn't gotten a parks tour, and
And I've heard we might get to experience meat walk on this, which I didn't see in the master plan.
I haven't put it together
Something on
yet.
that.
I'll actually, Rita mostly put it together. She's better at that than I am. But so that will be coming, and we're likely going to be looking at like a Friday for something like that. So I don't know how that works with work schedules, if you're able to get off like a few hours, but I'm going to be sending out a survey with the doodle poll with availability. And again, springtime is usually a great time to visit the parks. They're packed, and usually really nice this time of year. And then everybody's gone for the summer. So. And a couple of events we have coming up. We're partnering with a company, Joy Lab, that is going to be, we were approached by a woman, Michelle, that was really excited about doing a silent disco at Piper Park. So she has a silent disco company, and if you're familiar with them, they're the headphones that you put on, and everybody's on the same channel, and people dance and hang out and kind of have a little party. So it's going to be a community silent disco on May 3rd, Friday evening. Yeah. And it's going to be kind of centered around sunset, so that it kind of finishes up around sunset. So looking to make it a family event, kind of bring your own snacks and drinks and hang out and dance till sundown. This will be at Piper. And then signups, I believe, are live on Eventbrite.
Do they provide the headphones, or?
Yes, if
you
you'll come out.
bring your own headphones and everybody?
What is the cost for the register? Do you remember?
Don't know the cost of the registration. I want to say it's something like $20, maybe.
Okay.
You pay, and she provides the.
Okay, all right. So it's not a just show up.
Not just a show, it's not a free event.
It's not a free event. Okay.
Really inexpensive, and I think that was what drew us to that, is that a family can go for a relatively affordable cost. Are you able to pull at the time with that one? Right here. Good. I'll let Gianni pull that up, and we'll get you that.
And it's on the park site.
Yes, on the website. And then Music in the Park is coming back this year. First performance, we're going to do something a little bit different this year. We're going to stack the events and hope to build on previous attendance of the previous week. So we're going to run, it's not quite 5 consecutive weeks. We're taking graduation week off, but it's 5 dates from May 24th to June 28th. We're taking off June 14th, which is kind of like the graduation weekend. Friday night, 6 to 8 at Piper Park. Just locked in the final band earlier today, but we have some favorites come out. Spike Sykes and his awesome hotcakes closed the show last year and did an amazing job. Kind of blues. Funk Nugget, I believe, was recommended to me by Commissioner Capel last year, so it's funk. Lucky Drive, a local cover band. And Mitch Polzak, rockabilly, which is going to be kind of exciting, and some banjo and stuff. He was recommended by one of our staff, our planning inspector, Bill Hansel, who's run a lot of music in the park in different areas. And so excited to have him out here. And then years ago, we had Dennis Johnson slide guitar. I believe he was with the Mississippi Ramblers at the time. So some slide guitar and blues will be out to close out the show on June 28th. Yeah. We got the info here. Perfect. Yeah, $10 for a headset and $18 for 2.
And I'm sorry, the time?
And the time is Social starts at 6:30. So kind of arrive, and then the dance party starts at 7:45. It sunsets at 8:03, so we'll probably go until about 8:30 or so. Yeah, and this is great. This is a nice prepackaged event where this company brings out everything, and the energy behind it is great. So I'm excited.
Have you ever been to one?
I have, yes.
It's actually more fun to sell tickets to watch people.
Yeah. So actually, it was funny, Michelle approached us over the winter because she had her headphones out and was dancing at Lights in the Park. When you had, so yeah, so that inspired her to try a park setting in the evening, so. And that concludes my director's report.
Thank you. That was very extensive,
Sorry.
but very informative. It sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun for the next couple of months for sure. And I did receive my copy at home and I thought it was very nice. Great. Yeah, I like it. I like the smaller. And I am capable of being able to do it. It's the detail, that's what I'm sorry. Commissioners reports, anybody have anything they would like to share?
No, I got the notice of the commissioners and whatever handbook.
Yes.
So thank you for that. And then, a question about, we usually don't meet in August, is that for some month? We don't meet in July, we usually don't meet 1 month in the summer. Can you remind me what month that is?
Can't, because I think I messed that up last year.
Because now that you sent that out about being here and having good attendance, I want to see what month that is.
Let me, let me follow up
I
with,
want to say it's July, because that's the summer month that everyone's out of town, right? Does that make sense to everybody? But I don't remember.
I think that I did that last year and that it
That's wrong.
was maybe traditionally August, so I can, there's no reason it can't change if we want to do another doodle poll. Or let me look at what we did and then I'll email everybody, and I don't, it's
Well, I will
not,
not be here for the July meeting,
okay,
so I'm just going on record.
okay.
I could zoom.
So
in.
schedule your
I could
vacations.
zoom in.
Planning farm advance.
I'm in Athens, so.
Oh,
Actually, no, I'm sorry, the 18th I'm in San Torino, but.
yeah, I'm not sure I'm sick, but okay.
I can figure out the time zone, I might be able to zoom in, but.
I think we get a quorum without you.
Yeah, I think so too.
Appreciate the dedication.
Anything else from anyone?
There's a meeting call. That's easy to tell.
Nothing from me.
Okay, then, we will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'm so moved out.
Thank you. And do we have a second?
I'll so second it.
Outstanding. I think we can concur that the meeting is adjourned.
Stop.